everyone. This is your open forum radio show here in the Re-Elect Radio, and we are here in Las Vegas. Every Monday, 6 to 7 o'clock, this is our open forum. I am your host, Josie Harrison, and I have I have 4 or 5 co-hosts on the show, but tonight we only have 3. So I'm going to start introducing them. My first one is Charlotte Evans, Dolly De Leon, and Vicky Tambunting. Tonight we are very lucky because we do have a handsome judge here in Las Vegas. Very handsome because he wants us to really emphasize that word, handsome. And I can attest that he is such a good-looking guy. But anyway,
thank you.
Very smart.
Very smart.
Josie, do you have some parking tickets that you owe? Just checking.
Oh,
teasing you, Judge.
I told her to say that.
She means it. We're very happy you're here.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm honored.
Yeah, our guest for tonight is Judge Richard Scotti, and I will give the time and floor to my co-host, Vicky Tambunting, to read the short bio of our guest for tonight. Vicky?
Okay, guys, it's my honor and pleasure to introduce Judge Richard Scotti, who serves as District Court Judge for Department 2 in Clark County, a position he has held for nearly 6 years. He holds the Preeminent Rating from his peers, the highest rating possible in legal ability and ethical standards. Having practiced law in Clark County for 30 years, Judge Richard Scotti is recognized as a leader in the protection of our community. He served for 2 terms as one of the governors of the State Bar Board of Governors, managing the legal community and making sure lawyers treated their clients responsibly and fairly. The Nevada Supreme Court appointed him as a settlement judge for 10 years, where he helped parties avoid costly and time-consuming litigation. Judge Scotti is seeking re-election and would appreciate your support. Now, to sum this all up, I just want to say that I've been with Judge Scotti in the last 2 elections, and I kind of really know him, that you can trust him. He loves his job. He's a great family guy. That's why I took this opportunity and asked Josie if we can invite him to the show. I want the Filipino people here in Las Vegas, or PhilAms, to really know who Judge Richard Scotti is. So, I'm biased. Without further ado, may I ask, is it Dolly? Open the floor for questioning.
And you want me to open the...
Okay. The floor is open.
Yes, okay. Why don't we ask Judge Scotti to say something more about himself? How about that?
Well, thank you. And first, Victoria, thank you so much for that really lovely introduction. That means a lot to me to hear all those kind words from you. Thank you very much. And Dolly, it's great to see you again. It's a pleasure. I know that you had a role in my investiture. You are a minister, and you helped provide the prayer at the beginning, and that meant a lot to me, and it'll always be fond to me that you had an opportunity to do that, and I had you there. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
I have a question for Judge. Obviously, judgeships are supposed to be nonpartisan, and this couldn't be a crazier election year than I can ever remember. A lot of people are concerned about whether our judges, depending upon what side of the political aisle you're on, whether our judges are constitutionalists. Would you consider yourself a constitutionalist as a judge?
Thank you. Wow, you hit me with a hard question right at the beginning, right? Well, let me tell you my judicial philosophy. My judicial philosophy is originalism. And what originalism means is when you're interpreting the United States Constitution, or the Nevada Constitution as well, what you're doing is you're trying to determine what the original intent was, and you're applying the original intent to the issue before you. You're not an activist judge, so to speak. You're not a judge who is applying your own beliefs or predilections or or fears or likes or political ideology or philosophy. You are trying to do what was the original intent. Now, that doesn't mean, as Justice Scalia from our United States Supreme Court said, that doesn't mean you apply just the strict words that are written in the Constitution. It means you have to give a reasonable interpretation of those words in the context of the case before you. So absolutely, I'm going to apply the Constitution rationally, reasonably, its original intent. In fact, I always keep one nearby. There's my pocket Constitution. It really means a lot to me. And so in answer to your question, I'm an originalist. I give effect to the words in the context of the original meaning.
Thank you. Judge, since you mentioned, or Charlotte mentioned something about the Constitution, recently, this was just like a few days ago, John Roberts, who's the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States, had sided with the liberal judges in the challenge that was, I believe, from a church here in Las Vegas called the Calvary Chapel, who was challenging the number, the limit, the number of attendees to religious services.
Right.
And what can you say about that?
Unfortunately, Dolly, I can't say much, and here's why. I have a COVID case in front of me right now, which is going to come up for a hearing, and it involves the extent to which COVID was a real problem, to the extent it still is a problem, and what is the scope of our government officials' responsibilities and duties in light of that to protect the public. And that is an issue that is squarely in front of me. And I don't even want to mention the parties, but let me tell you, the reason why judges can't answer questions like that,
okay,
if we do, it shows a bias or prejudice one way or another. And if it sounds like I'm leaning one way, then the other side or one side might say, Judge, we want you off the case. And they can do what's called a challenge or a request for disqualification. And the truth is, when a case like that comes in front of you, you have to try your hardest, your absolute hardest, not to form opinions. And the reason is because you don't want an opinion. You want to be fair to everybody until you've read all the papers and you've heard the argument. And so I have been striving so hard to be open-minded until I hear argument in that case in front of me. So yes. Very good question. I know it's on everybody's mind. And the Supreme Court had a very lengthy set of dissents. And I have to leave it at that, though.
Thank you so very much.
May I comment on that particular topic that you just explained to us, Judge Scotti? You know, I was listening to a case one time, and this is forming an opinion when you hear a case or something. I agree with you, because in that particular case, the lawyer asked the plaintiff, saying, you were sitting there and it is in an open view. You mean to say you didn't see this person walk by you? And so the plaintiff said, no, I didn't see him. And then my own, thinking, I said, I form an opinion. I said, yeah, how in the heck he cannot see him? He's sitting here and he passed by. Well, one thing happened to me. I was at the airport and I passed through my friend and she was sitting in the lobby and I didn't see her, and not at all. I mean, her face, hair, clothes, nothing. I just passed by and I was so openly looking around. So she ran after me and tapped me on my shoulder. And she said, hey, she said, you were walking right in front of me, looking around. You didn't see me. So in my mind, I said, yeah, you cannot judge because there could be some obstructing thing in front of you or what have you, that you will not be able to see something or somebody walking by you. So I agree with you. You cannot form an opinion. Really, you have to find something that will make that right. When you hear something that in your mind you're saying, no, that's not possible. She must see her, but you didn't. So
no, and you have to put blinders on, and that's all about integrity. The community deserves integrity, and that means you have to set aside all these extraneous factors like sex and age and national origin. You have to set aside things like, is it a big case or a small case? Is powerful special interests behind the case? Is the government behind the case? Does one side have a lawyer or no lawyer? You have to set those factors aside, and that's what integrity requires, and that's what the public is entitled to, a fair judge with integrity. And I would like to tell your viewers that I was awarded by my peers the distinction of having the preeminent rating in ethical standards, and it really means a lot to me. I'm humbled, really humbled to have received that distinction. I tried so hard. I try so hard every day to make sure that I'm going to treat everybody fairly. And when you walk up the courthouse steps every morning, you have to say to yourself, just let me do the best job with the facts and law in front of me, and don't be pushed around by special interests. Have the courage to do the right thing. And that's what I try to do every day.
That's a hard job.
It's a very hard job. I am so honored, though. This to me is one of the greatest jobs in the world to me. I love my job. I have no agenda other than to come to court each day and make sure that I'm going to listen hard. I'm going to try my best to read everything and understand everything. I want to know the law. I want to do better every single day. And it is a hard job, and I'm humbled that your viewers and the people gave me this opportunity. And I really have a lot of respect for the people that have this difficult decision to make in selecting a judge. And I'm honored that they selected me. So thank you.
Judge, this past election, you were very active in social media. And in fact, many of our friends in social media, I had been campaigning for you in my own little way in social media. And every time I see all those endorsements, and I said to myself, wow, Judge Scotti is endorsed by this group, that group. He deserves it. Josie, Charlotte, Victoria, you know that. 6 years ago, when we were campaigning for Judge Scotti, you remember we went all over, and he was everybody was saying, oh, let's vote for him. He's such a gentleman. Judge, in fact, I was telling the ladies today, you're one of my favorite judges. Maybe you're the top favorite. Because I remember during election, you had your party in a Filipino restaurant.
I did.
I remember being there. And you are just so close to the Filipino Asian, community here in Las Vegas. And you're close to every community. And we just love you for being that way.
Well, thank you very much for saying that. And well, let me respond in two ways to that briefly, if I could. I do so respect the Asian American community. The Asian American community, from what I have read, is one of the fastest growing communities in our county. And I believe about half of the Asian Americans are of Filipino descent or origin. And I think there are about 200,000, maybe more, of Asian Americans in our county. So it's a huge segment of our population. I've been trying hard to understand and promote and associate with the Asian American community, the Filipino community. I was a member of a Lions Club for a couple years, and in that role, I helped raise money for masks that they use for all the dust and smoke from one of the volcanic eruptions. I've been to several Filipino events. I've been a member of the Chinese American Citizen Action Network as well, and they're actually inviting me to come speak at an event, some Asian Oktoberfest event that's going to be at the Ahern Hotel coming up. So I help. I help those organizations. There's another one that my good friend Swadip Nigam does, the Southwest Asian Network Association as well. And so I know how important it is for a judge to reach out to the community, not just one segment, but everybody. You can't lose sight of any cultural identity here in Clark County. So that was one thing I wanted to say. And another, you were being so kind about how, I don't know your exact words. You were way too kind to me in saying that, I'm nice and humble and sweet or whatever your words were. But you know what? I grew up in my life. I've had some really tough jobs. I've grown up a painter. I was a truck driver, a delivery person. I worked at McDonald's and Winchell's, and I had to paint tar on a big tanker truck. And I worked in a warehouse putting together snorkels for a company, and then I learned bookkeeping. And in fact, I worked for McDonald's when I was attending USC, my first year at USC, and I had to miss a USC Notre Dame football game because they wouldn't let me have the time off. And so what I'm leading up to is, through all those life experiences, I've made a lot of mistakes, and you learn from those mistakes. You learn about responsibility and accountability, and that mistakes have consequences. But with every mistake, you get better. We do things wrong. We're not computers. We have to be forgiving, and we have to know when there's an opportunity to improve ourselves. And so I've made mistakes. I make mistakes in court. I make mistakes of all types in court. They happen, but thank God we have one of the best judicial systems in the world, where we make a mistake. Guess what? It goes up to the Supreme Court, and they correct us. And I don't mind. That's because that's the American way. And so I recognize mistakes. We all need them and recognize them so we can get better. So your words were way too kind to me, but thank you.
Judge Scotti, you mentioned a moment ago that you went to USC. And I remember I met you at some fundraisers years ago, and we talked about that. I went there too. Not to put you on the spot for another political hot button issue, but USC took down the John Wayne exhibit. How do you feel about that as somebody who went to the college? Did that seem like the right thing to do?
He had some really good movies. I love John Wayne movies. He was just the star for my dad, and I've watched all of them. Growing up, you don't always hear about different things that have happened in a person's life. And like I said, we all made mistakes. Sometimes we make some pretty bad ones, but a lot of times you just learn about the good. No matter how bad a person can be, there's a lot of good in everybody. And sometimes it's more bad than good, but we don't always hear. We're indoctrinated sometimes to just hear a certain side of a person. Now, John Wayne, I didn't know about some of the allegations.
Go ahead and outline them, because it's possible I don't know all of them either. I just know that the first time I heard about this, I thought, is this for real?
Yeah, I don't like to talk bad about anybody, and we all have our own demons, so to speak. Wouldn't have been my decision to take down an important icon or landmark for USC. We would just what we need to do is, when there are statues that represent a bad part of our history, we need that statue to stand as an exhibit of the good and bad. And we need to educate people about what that statue stands for and the good and bad behind it. That's one approach, and that would be my approach. It may not be everybody's approach. I wouldn't have taken down the statue, but I would have educated people.
No need to scrub
all the circumstances behind it. I hope you maybe feel the same way a little bit.
I think there's no perfect, except for Jesus. There's nobody who's been perfect. And history, I don't think we should scrub it. Even the blemishes, like you said, we should have something explaining what it is, and maybe move it to a more appropriate place. If it is offensive, move it somewhere else. But just tearing down statues, I don't agree with that.
I've actually thought of an idea. You can even rope around a statue and call it a museum. And it could be not something that is to be revered, but something that is to be a documentation of some of our past.
The only comment that I have about that, Judge Scotti, is that why now? Why dump all the problems right now? Like, we don't know which one we're going to prioritize as to which one to solve first, or maybe satisfied, because the death of George Floyd and the racism that they're bringing up. And to be honest with you, I know there's racism in the country. We all know that.
Of course.
But I've never heard something that has been so sensationalized so much. I have been here for the past 30 years, and this past few years was amazing. I don't even know which one. Well, what's our problem right now? Mail-in ballots, racism, the statues. It's just all together, and we don't want that. We don't want God in our Pledge of Allegiance. And wait, give us time to digest. Which one do you want to prioritize to solve our problem? It's just, for me, I'm just overwhelmed.
It is. Yes.
Go ahead.
I was just saying it is overwhelming, and we have to remember that one of the Bill of Rights, the First Amendment, it's the first for an important reason. It's for us to recognize that our society, our system of government, our system of justice is really unique. We give people an opportunity to protest because we learn from those protests, and it shares knowledge. Now, where protests go wrong is where it turns to violence, and we all shun the violence. But I think we need to be excited about, we have a system of justice which allows protests, which allows people to say, hey, wait a minute, something is wrong.
Exactly.
Sometimes something is wrong. We've had a lot of times in our society where we've caught mistakes. Is this one of them? I guess that's for future generations to decide.
Yeah, protest is fine, but not rioting and looting. Look what's happening in Portland. What can you say about this? Over 2 months in Portland?
It depends on how you define rioting, but breaking windows, breaking into small business owners' businesses. I've worked for small businesses. I told you I was a bookkeeper and an accountant, and I learned that these businesses support families. These businesses support our economy with paying taxes.
It's the backbone.
These businesses provide a benefit for society and customers. You can't cause such havoc in society that you're shutting down businesses due to looting and rioting and destruction. And so, yes, I'm very seriously against that behavior. Absolutely. And I think the law enforcement in our county recognizes that. I've been endorsed by all major law enforcement agencies here in the state of Nevada. And I'm honored that they gave me that distinction. It means a lot to me because it means that they see that I'm standing up for the men and women that are first responders and the people that put their lives at risk. And I really am honored, and I really have a lot of support for the men and women that protect our society.
As a judge, you wouldn't be responsible. Well, actually, you could be ruling on something involving defunding police.
I
Do you see any of that potentially coming to the Las Vegas Valley?
What part coming into Las Vegas Valley?
The efforts to defund police?
Oh, sure. That could be an issue that could come before me, and so I can't speak on that. Yeah, there are probably a couple different ways. And yeah, judge is not allowed, like I said earlier, to express a view on the meaning of a law or how a law should be changed. Sometimes laws are ambiguous, or the judge's personal opinion on how a law should be enforced. Now, once it comes before you, yeah, we're expected to form opinions, but not. Yeah, I can't answer that question. Charlotte.
You know, Judge Scotti, your position in your biography, in the short bio that you sent me, you said that you are more of like the head of the board of directors that foresee the litigation and the cost and time of a litigation. You want to see that it is properly manned by the other judges. Explain to us your position as being the head of the board of directors of the judges.
Thank you. Right. Well, the legal community has a system called the State Bar Board of Governors. And the lawyers of our county elect those board members. And 2 times they elected me to be one of those board members. Our responsibility is to make sure that the legal community remains responsible and accountable, ethical. They're complying with their responsibilities to their clients, that we have proper diversity, that we have proper accounting of bar dues and client settlement funds and client payments. One of the things I got to do was to serve as a fee dispute arbitrator and also the division coordinator of the fee dispute program for 10 years. And in that role, the state bar allowed me to resolve disputes, billing disputes between clients and their attorneys. And so that was such a great opportunity to help people resolve their billing disputes without going to court, without wasting their time and expense and anxiety. So one of the things, and also I served as a foreclosure mediator by appointment by the Nevada Supreme Court, based in part on my experience on various settlement organizations. I have a lot of experience in settlement, so the Supreme Court put me in charge of the Supreme Court, or they put me not in charge. They made me one of the foreclosure mediators. I don't want to overstate this, where I helped homeowners resolve their disputes with the bank, so I can help the homeowners resolve their disputes, keep their homes. And that felt really good, and that was a great opportunity. Then the Nevada Supreme Court also assigned me as a settlement judge for 10 years, where I helped people resolve their cases on appeal and avoid costly litigation and avoid the anxiety. There's so much anxiety with litigation. It's really, really hard to come out of any litigation calling yourself a winner. So I help people resolve those and get back to their community and get back to their homes and family, get back to their businesses. That meant a lot to me, then having that experience and then taking that to the Board of Governors and helping to make sure that our legal system is properly taking care of the clients and people that so heavily rely on lawyers. So that's a big part of what I did on the Board of Governors.
You are with District 2. Can you tell us what area is District 2?
Department 2. Thank you for asking. Yes, I handle civil and criminal matters. The civil matters, anything from small traffic accidents to huge traffic accident cases, personal injury, medical malpractice, real property, construction, lien. I've handled some contract cases, lots of contract cases, a little bit of family law. I've handled corporate disputes, shareholder disputes, partnership disputes, lots of landlord-tenant matters, disputes between neighbors, all of that. And also, the chief judge put me in charge on the criminal side. She's put me in charge of all misdemeanor appeals. So essentially, I'm the appellate judge for all misdemeanor appeals, and that includes DUI cases and some simple battery cases, domestic violence cases. Those all come to me, and I take those very seriously because, for instance, just a simple DUI affects a person's life forever. It makes it harder for them to get a job, lots of jobs. all of those crimes affect a person's ability to get a job. So I take both the civil side and the criminal side very seriously. I volunteer for felony cases as well. I've handled cases from an assault and battery up to kidnapping to even child abuse, child molestation, and as well as murder cases. And you get the whole realm of cases. And so a judge has such a significant impact on society and everybody's lives. And so, again, thank you for letting me be on your show to talk to your viewers and let me tell everybody why a judge is important and hopefully how I can continue to fulfill that role.
Judge, I have one last question if you still have some time.
I have time, sure.
In the past, what was the most challenging case that you ever had and cannot forget, and you felt like so relieved that that case was done and over with? I was a juvenile court counselor during the time of Judge Mendoza. That was a while back, and I remember some cases that we had where until now I still remember the names of people. Of course, we cannot mention names of the people, but just that case was over. It was so challenging, and you're so glad that it was all over and you were able to reach out and help those people.
Wow, right. Well, let me think. Well,
I'm sorry.
Thank you. Well, one comes to mind. I guess one comes to mind because it was a very emotional case, and I mentioned this to some folks some time ago, and it still is very emotional to me. It was a criminal case, and there was a gentleman who had spanked his children too hard, and it was wrong what he did, and he got probation. This gentleman. And part of the probation terms was that he couldn't be alone with the children. And they were worried that, that he might spank his children again too hard. And, but they didn't have anything to eat. They were almost starving. And he lived with his girlfriend. And so the girlfriend was the responsible adult for the children. Well, the girlfriend got this job, like a day labor job as a housekeeper. She was going to make $50 that day so they could feed their kids. And so she left, and she put, it was a boyfriend, girlfriend. She put her boyfriend in charge of watching the kids so she could go make $50. Well, it just so happened the probation officer came in and saw he was alone with the kids and brought him in, and he was in front of me. And I had to decide whether his probation should be revoked. That was a really tough decision because, listening to everything, they didn't have a babysitter. They didn't know anybody else. There was no resources for him to have someone watch the kids. And he had gone for 6 or 9 months with perfect behavior. So I had to balance the law, but they gave me some discretion. And he was crying. He was crying in my courtroom. And he was saying, "Judge, I didn't know what to do." And he says, "I opened up my cupboard and I can show you I had half a box of Cheerios, Judge, and my kids need to eat, and I did it for them." That was very emotional. I let him have probation. Now, there's cases where people are evil, and there are cases where people have so much hatred and they're so wrong, or they do crimes that are so tough. Those people, when I look in their eyes and I can see that they're really bad, I'm going to come down as hard as I can, as appropriate under the law. But you have to discern sometimes where someone deserves. In this case, it really was not a second chance, but a third chance. That was a hard decision, Dolly. I think that was your question. It was a really hard decision to me. And those are the types of decisions that we don't get that tough a decision daily, but they come up every once in a while. And this is a really tough job.
Yes.
I just read some of our comments, Judge Scotti. I don't know if you know M. Joseph Miller II. He's a candidate also. He's running for, oh my goodness, help me people. what is the position of Judge Miller? I think he's assemblyman of District 5. Oh boy.
I didn't hear the name, but
Joseph Miller.
oh, I know Mr. Miller.
Yeah, he said Judge Richard Scotti is one of the fairest judges in the country. Yay!
Oh,
Two thumbs
Wow.
up.
Yeah, and then I have Hadassah Gold. Do you know him? Hadassah
Hadassah.
Gold.
I know Hadassah, of course.
Okay, he
Absolutely, I
said
know her. How did her name come up?
he
Oh,
is
she's watching.
writing comment on Facebook because we put your post
Oh.
on Facebook. Yeah, so they
Right.
know that we are interviewing you today.
She's a very hard worker and a fantastic consultant.
Oh, beautiful. She said, you are right. He is the most honest judge. There
And-
you go.
And she's a very successful businesswoman also.
There you go.
I love
Thank
you.
you. It's great having
Hadassah.
comments. It's great having comments from the community. It means a lot to me to have great comments from the community. It inspires me to work harder.
Do you know Norwin Crespo? Norwin Crespo.
I'm not sure.
Okay, he said, well, support. Oh, wait a minute. You don't know him because he's watching from the Philippines.
Oh, okay. I don't think he can vote for. Well, tell him to fly back into town and become a citizen and register.
And my cousin Judith Guzman say, hello po, Ate Josie, that's me. And then another one is Gidget Guzman, my cousin also. So she's watching and she say, hello, Judge Scotti. I have one question, Judge Scotti.
Yeah.
On your District 2, what is your area? What I'm saying is location-wise.
Good question.
Josie, Judge, may I interrupt?
Okay.
Yes.
It's a good thing Josie asked that question because what she's saying is at first it's District 2. People, it's not District 2, it's Department 2. So I want you to know the difference because
Yes.
Judge will explain who can vote for judges. Because some people think, oh, I can only vote for a person because this person is in district. Like Mac Miller is in a certain district, but judges are different. So that's by department, and everyone can vote for the judge. It doesn't have to be like you're in District 5, 1, 2, 3. So Judge, please explain that.
Thank you. Yeah, you're very insightful, Victoria. Well, I think you said it well that the district court judges, we're called district judges, but the district court judges, our area of jurisdiction is all of Clark County. So I have to reach out to everybody in Clark County. There are very roughly 1 million voters. So that's who we have to reach out to. And maybe we're going to have 750,000 voters this coming general election. It's hard to say, but I have to try to reach out to everybody. And it's great shows like this that help me do that. I go around to different events. We're starting to have more events, starting to figure out ways to have events despite COVID, and word of mouth through friends and publishing my website on Facebook. But it's the entire Clark County. And as Victoria said, it's different than assembly districts.
Judge Scotti, I wanted to ask you just one more question about, I'm sorry, my cat's screaming. I don't know if you heard that. You know what? Let me come back to you. Sorry about that. I'll be right back.
Okay, I just want to say, Josie, one more thing.
And I love cats.
Connie Benito, the wife of Bernie Benito, who's one of the most influential Filipinos here, is watching. So,
Hi.
Connie, definitely,
Thank you.
You know, Judge Scotti. Okay,
I've got
I
my
hope
question.
you guys are well.
Can I do one question?
Okay.
Hey, wait
I'll
a
take
minute.
another question.
Thank you, Judge Scotti.
Okay.
Running for judge is very challenging. Is there another judge out there that you admire, that you would like to say, hey, this is a judge that I admire that's also running in Clark County right now?
Wait, he cannot do that. He wants to be voted.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to endorse other judges. That's prohibited. I could talk about a judge that I admire, though.
That's kind of where I'm going. Is there a judge that you admire whose work ethic?
Right. I've had that question before as well, and so I know what my answer is. That's Nevada Supreme Court Justice Michael Cherry. A lot of respect for him, that he's always been just a stalwart for protecting the rights of the underdog and the indigent. And he's been on committees to help ensure consistency in sentencing. And I got to know him, wow, a long time ago. We both served on the Client Security Fund Committee, which helped clients recover funds from lawyers that had done something wrong and then disappeared. I have a lot of respect for Chief Justice Cherry.
Okay, one more. Another person is watching, Joe Devlin.
Okay.
Hey, Joe.
Joe Devlin.
Bye.
We were together. We were together when we followed the campaign of Judge Scotti from more than 6 years ago. And we're going to do it again. And there's some
angels, right?
Joe Devlin, yeah. Super judge. Okay.
Thank you.
So, Judge, just to repeat it, so everybody in Clark County can vote for you.
Yes.
That's it. All right.
Yes.
Not necessarily in a certain place, just Clark County.
All of Clark County.
I have one more comment from Joseph Miller. He said, I have that Constitution book too, from Brenda Frank.
That's right.
Yeah, you chose the Constitution.
Does he have as many as me? I have. I have a whole stack here.
Oh,
I actually hand them out at Halloween, and kids come around and they started telling me their teachers were giving them extra credit if they pick up a Constitution from Scotti. And so they would come back and specifically ask for them in successive years.
Oh my goodness. Now, Joseph Miller, do the same thing. You have to distribute those too. Well, you know, we want to thank you. I know you have asked for maybe just 30 minutes interview, but we can give you that time now. We can talk other subjects. So if you want to say something to your listeners, we can cut your interview because you have requested it earlier. Go ahead.
Thank you. Just very briefly, again, I am really humbled that the community gave me this chance to serve. Again, it's my honor to wake up every day and know that I get this great opportunity to help resolve disputes and bring as much as I can of fairness and due process and justice and reasoning and courage as I can. And it's the community that gave me this opportunity, and with their support, I'll do it again. And perhaps I can mention my website, Josie?
Sure. Yes,
all right.
please. Yeah.
So my website is www.reelectjudgescotti.com. You can go to my website and read more about me. Click a button if you want to donate or become a volunteer. I would really appreciate getting to know you some more. So thank you.
Yes, please donate to his campaign, for Judge Scotti's campaign. I promise I would.
Thank you. Thank you, Dolly. Appreciate it.
Thank you for your time.
Charlotte, Victoria, Josie, thank you very much again.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judge. You know we love you. Bye.
Thank you. I'll see you all on the campaign trail, I hope.
Yes. All right.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
God bless, Judge.
Okay, now we're open for discussion. Johan, you can there you go. Now we're open for discussion. We have 15 minutes. Any news that you guys would like to share?
Well,
Sorry, my cat. I should have had the cat in the same room with the dogs. I picked the wrong rooms for them. Judge Roberts was supposed to be considered a conservative justice of the Supreme Court. And this year he's been at least a disappointment to the current president in terms of what the current administration was hoping for with rulings recently.
Exactly.
It's going to be I wanted to ask Judge Scotti, and this would be another question he can't necessarily speak to, but what can be done to bring the country together? I mean, everybody obviously needs to listen to everybody, but what concrete things do people who are judges think can be done to sew up the fabric of our society?
Well, Judge Scotti is not here anymore. He's not here with us. So,
number one, COVID. It puts you all together in different groups. And then you have this riots, looting, and everything. So it's dividing the country. So it's just like they were saying that it's biblical because if you honor Israel or help Israel, God will help you. If you divide Israel, God will divide you.
So, President Trump did not divide Israel, Victoria. What he did was just the United States Embassy, the U.S. Embassy, that was promised by many of his predecessors. I mean, the past presidents. The past president promised that they're going to transfer the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem. Now it has happened, and it has nothing to do about Israel being divided. That's why our country is divided now. Our country is divided now because of the liberals, because of politics. That's my take, Victoria. Please.
This is open forum. I mean, you can say anything.
Oh my gosh, we're going to get hate mail from everywhere. It's funny that we wrapped up the discussion with a judge because it was potentially too contentious. And so what do we jump into? Religion.
Religion, yeah.
But I just feel the same way. I mean, people have so many reasons every single time they turn on the news, whether it's the plagues or the COVID, or I've even seen, have you seen the birds that were flocking over a shopping center? Just crazy freak of nature things are happening. So everybody, I think, is kind of wondering what is really going on right now. It's a natural question.
Well, and in the Bible, in the Bible prophecies, U.S. is not included anywhere. So they were wondering, why is the United States not here? Why is the United States not predicted to help?
What's Babylon?
Israel. So
no, we're the modern Babylon.
They're not.
No. But what particular prophecies are you talking about, Victoria? What particular prophecies?
Oh my goodness! Here comes Revelation. The Revelation.
In the Revelation.
Yeah. Okay, Josie.
If we're going to get in trouble, slide into home. Take it all away.
That's one thing. When we talk to a minister, the Bible will come in and, watch out, liberals, and then we're going to have a lot of emails. Hey,
that's fine. That's fine.
Well, let me just say about a community service. We just want to say to every of our listeners, especially here in Nevada, by the way, we have like 140,000 listeners in a month. And that is more focusing on the listeners here.
Wow, that's good.
That's and just for your information, we have like 3 million in our population here in Nevada. We will know the update of how many are added in our population after we hear from census. So, but right now we have like 3.8 million people in Nevada. And also, I just want to share community service to everyone who's having problems with their passports or, recording the birth or adoption or what have you, and dual citizenship also. There will be no consular outreach service in Nevada for the entire year of 2020. So if you want to make an appointment, if you want to see the consulate in LA, you have to make an appointment, because without an appointment, you will not be entertained. No walk-in. They are very strict and adamant about that. No walk-in.
Really?
Right. So they can email the Philippine consulate, at AOL.com, or they can go to their website and get more information. If they go to www.philippineconsulateLA.org, make an appointment, set your time and date, because if you walk in, sorry, you have to drive back. Okay?
Josie, it's unfortunate that they can't do it this year, because from my experience, this one is a big help to the PhilAmps here in Las Vegas and probably Arizona, where all of them don't have to drive to LA.
Exactly.
So that was a big service, and I appreciated them.
Yeah. So, and I just want to let every listeners and viewers that are with us right now, we have different links whereby you can watch us through Amazon Fire TV channel. We are YouTube. We have Facebook Live, and you can listen to us through Spotify, Amazon Alexa, Google Play, iHeartRadio, and Apple Store. And you can also message us to your comments, and we will really appreciate that, so we know that we are really giving you entertainment every Monday. And that is at 702-613-6433. Always remember, we are live streaming. If there is, or where and when there is an internet, there is PHLV radio. Okay, girls, it's open to all of you.
I was just going to say hi to John Paul David, my favorite realtor in Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm going to buy a house from you.
Oh, really? Hi, John Paul. Any comment, Sharon?
I wanted to say,
Not Sharon, Charlotte.
Cesar, I wanted to say hi to him. I don't know if you're able to watch right now, and I know he's in the hospital, but we're all pulling for you and thinking of you and praying for you.
Yes.
Okay, and Dolly, did you write the prayers for Caesar tonight?
I can pray. I mean, do you want me to lead? Do you want me to do it now?
Yeah.
Before that, may I say hi to Saroj Singh and Jen Ko, beautiful ladies. Hi, thank you for watching us.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah.
We're not gonna close yet. We want to offer some prayers for Caesar.
Sorry.
And also, let's include Mindy Lloyd,
Mindy Lloyd and Eric
Yeah,
Lloyd.
I'll
the
do
husband,
that.
Eric. We also all have Abe Velasco
Abe.
and his wife.
Abe
So Ava, Abe, Eric,
Francis.
and Mindy, Cesar, Epijo, and Beverly, and all the others that are affected with with
Okay,
COVID.
I'll include. That's Eva. That's Eva Velasco. Ava.
Ava.
Ava. Okay, Ava. Okay, before I do the prayer, real quick, I just want to report something about the wedding industry in Vegas. Do you know that there are many people who are still coming to Las Vegas to get married here? And I was just given the news from our county clerk, Lingoya, that indeed we're still getting busy in spite of having a lot of places being closed. So the county clerk's office is open until midnight. They want to get married in Las Vegas. In fact, I had 3 people who called me yesterday and got married, last night. And then tonight we'll do 2. So please come to Vegas and reach out to us.
It would be nice to get married in Vegas.
Yes, it is. I have a beautiful outdoor setting.
Especially if Dolly is your minister.
Yeah.
Thank
You know, Dolly, go ahead and share first your contact
Your prayer.
information, because I know you sell rentals and you have a sale of wedding gowns and tuxedo. So please
Yes.
share your information.
Okay. Well, this is Las Vegas is the wedding destination in the world. And in fact, I spearheaded a unique rental system of tuxedos and gowns in Las Vegas. So if you want to get married, full blown, like the tux gowns and everything, we have it, and it's very, very reasonable, very, very inexpensive. So come to Vegas. Thank you, Josie. Thank you for that. Okay, shall we join in prayers? Let's all bow our heads. Lord Jesus Christ, by your patience in suffering, you hallowed earthly pain and gave us the example of obedience to your Father's will. Sustain the people who are weak and in pain right now. Our friend Cesar, Mindy, and Eric Lloyd, Abe and Ava Velasco, and those members of our community who are in the hospital right now and all over the world. Father, give them the strength and courage, and give them the faith to put their trust in you. Thank you, Father, for answering our prayers, dear God. We give you all the praise, thanks, and glory in Christ Jesus. And we say, Amen.
Amen.
So Charlotte, do you want to greet anybody? Anything on Facebook that you guys would like to read, your friends or what have you? We have 2 minutes.
Well, actually, I'd like to say hello to my father, who just turned 83 years old.
Hi.
He's actually going to be, and Josie will discuss this a little bit more coming up, he's going to be our surprise guest.
Oh!
He's got a fascinating background. He was in Army intelligence as a young man. He taught the American legal system in East Germany after the wall came down. And so he's got a very unique perspective on people who've lived in a socialist country coming out of a socialist society into a Western society. So he has a very, I think, fascinating perspective on socialism. And I know people talk the Venezuela, we can learn a lot from what's happened in Venezuela, Cuba, of course, but I don't think a lot of Americans really understand what happened in Eastern Europe. And to have an American citizen who lived there taught former Eastern Europeans who had just emerged from the communist system. There's some great stuff I think that you guys would really enjoy. I know I would love to be able to ask.
I'd love to hear that. Yes. Go ahead, Vicky.
Just want to say thank you, guys. Thank you, Judge Richard Scotti, for accepting our invitation. And guys, I think we're almost out of it. Just be a little more patient. Take care of yourselves and others. Okay? So I love all of you and thank you.
Okay, Dali.
Thank you so much for listening to us and watching us. Thank you, Judge Scotti. Thank you, Josie, Johan, Charlotte, Michael, Charlotte, and Victoria. We miss you, Cesar.
And I hope Sharon is listening. Sharon,
Sharon too. That's right. Yeah.
Hope to see you all guys in 2 weeks. I hope that we'll see both of them. So thank you so much, Johan, for all your assistance in our technical background help there. You are always there with us. And to all of you, thank you so much. I don't know what I've done.
If you want to be a guest, keep in touch.
Yes.
Facebook, message me or Josie or Charlotte or Dolly. If you want to be our guest. I mean, this is your opportunity to tell us what your platform is.
And we love liberals. So whatever Dolly said, we love the liberals and we love the progressives too. Thank you for listening.
We love everybody, right?
Love everybody.
God bless.